Hello friends, welcome to Crime Chronicles US, where America's unsolved mysteries, vanished criminals, and chilling cases come alive. Every story is real, every detail matters, and the truth remains buried in the shadows. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to stay updated with every mystery. This is Crime Chronicles US. On the afternoon of November 24, 1971, as millions of Americans prepared for Thanksgiving, a quiet man in a dark suit boarded Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305 at Portland International Airport. He paid for his ticket in cash, gave his name as Dan Cooper, and took seat 18C near the rear of the Boeing 727. To the passengers around him, he looked ordinary, forgettable even. Middle-aged, calm, polite. Nothing about him suggested that this flight would become the center of one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in American history. Shortly after takeoff, as the plane climbed toward Seattle, Cooper leaned toward the flight attendant, Florence Schaffner, and handed her a note. At first, she assumed it was another businessman's phone number and slipped it into her purse without reading it. Cooper cleared his throat and calmly said, "Miss, you'd better look at that note. I have a bomb." When she unfolded the paper, the message was brief and terrifying. He claimed he was carrying an explosive device and demanded to speak with her privately. Cooper opened his briefcase just enough for Schaffner to glimpse what appeared to be sticks of dynamite wired to a battery and a detonator. He was composed, almost courteous, as he laid out his demands. He wanted $200,000 in cash, for parachutes, and a fuel truck waiting in Seattle. If his conditions were met, no one would be harmed. If they weren't, he would detonate the bomb. Schaffner relayed the message to the cockpit, and the pilot immediately contacted air traffic control. Rather than panic, the airline and authorities chose to comply. The plane circled the Seattle area for hours to give time for the ransom to be assembled. On board, Cooper ordered a bourbon and soda, paid for it, and sat quietly as if this were nothing more than an inconvenience. He did not threaten passengers, raise his voice, or display any visible anxiety. Those who saw him later recalled that he seemed almost bored. When the plane finally landed in Seattle, the runway lights glowing against the wet tarmac, Cooper's demands were met with remarkable precision. The money was delivered in a knapsack containing 10,000 unmarked $20 bills. 4 parachutes were brought aboard, 2 primary chutes and 2 reserve chutes. Cooper allowed all 36 passengers to leave the plane, releasing them unharmed. Only a skeleton crew remained: the pilot, co-pilot, flight engineer, and a single flight attendant named Tina Mucklow. As the aircraft refueled, Cooper gave new instructions. He ordered the plane to fly to Mexico City at low altitude, around 10,000 feet, with the landing gear down and the rear staircase lowered. The Boeing 727 was one of the few commercial planes at the time capable of flying with its rear stairs deployed, a detail that suggested Cooper had specific knowledge of the aircraft. The crew raised concerns about fuel range and safety, eventually agreeing to refuel in Reno, Nevada. Once airborne again, heading south into the dark, stormy night, Cooper fastened the money around his waist and retreated to the rear of the plane. Somewhere over the dense forests of the Pacific Northwest, with rain lashing the fuselage and wind howling through the open stairway, he made his move. At approximately 8:13 p.m., a warning light flashed in the cockpit, indicating that the rear stairs had been deployed. Moments later, the plane jolted upward, as if a heavy weight had suddenly disappeared. Dan Cooper was gone. When the plane landed safely in Reno, authorities rushed aboard, expecting to find Cooper injured or hiding. Instead, the cabin was empty. The bomb was gone. The man had vanished into the night, carrying $200,000 and leaving behind nothing but questions. No body was ever found. No parachute was ever recovered. And despite one of the most extensive manhunts in FBI history, Cooper was never identified with certainty. The FBI immediately launched an investigation codenamed Norjack, short for Northwest Hijacking. Hundreds of agents combed the forests of Washington and Oregon, searching for signs of a parachute, money, or remains. They interviewed thousands of people, from skydivers to survivalists, former military personnel to airline employees. Yet no conclusive evidence surfaced. One of the most baffling aspects of the case was Cooper's apparent planning and confidence. He selected a plane that could safely deploy its rear stairs in flight. He knew the cruising speed and altitude limitations. He chose a night flight during bad weather, increasing his chances of escaping unseen. But he also made curious mistakes. The parachute he used was not steerable. He jumped into rough terrain in freezing rain, wearing a business suit and loafers. If he survived the jump, he would have been injured, soaked, and lost in near wilderness. For years, investigators debated whether Cooper survived at all. Some believed the jump was suicidal, arguing that no one could land safely under those conditions. Others countered that Cooper may have been an experienced paratrooper or skydiver who understood the risks and accepted them. The truth remained elusive. Then, in 1980, nearly a decade after the hijacking, a breakthrough, or perhaps another complication, emerged. An 8-year-old boy named Brian Ingram was vacationing with his family along the Columbia River when he discovered 3 bundles of decaying $20 bills buried in the sand. The serial numbers matched the ransom money given to Cooper. Approximately $5,800 was recovered, badly deteriorated but unmistakably linked to the crime. The discovery reignited public fascination and raised new questions. How did the money get there? Was it carried by the river from the jump site? Did Cooper lose part of the ransom during his escape? Or was the money deliberately buried, perhaps by someone else? No additional ransom bills were ever found, despite years of searching. Over time, dozens of suspects emerged. One of the most famous was Richard McCoy Jr., a Vietnam veteran and experienced skydiver who hijacked a plane in a nearly identical manner just months later. McCoy parachuted from a Boeing 727 with ransom money, but he was later caught and imprisoned. While the similarities were striking, the FBI ultimately ruled him out, citing physical differences and witness accounts. Another suspect was Kenneth Christensen, a former Northwest Airlines employee with parachuting experience and a sudden increase in wealth after 1971. Some believed his knowledge of the airline industry and demeanor matched Cooper's. However, the FBI never confirmed him as the hijacker, and key details didn't align perfectly. There was also Dwayne Weber, a troubled man who allegedly confessed to his wife on his deathbed that he was D.B. Cooper. He knew specific details about the case that were not widely public at the time, but no definitive evidence tied him to the crime. Like so many others, his story raised intrigue but fell short of proof. Perhaps the most compelling modern suspect is Robert Rackstraw, a former military pilot with experience in explosives, survival training, and aviation. Independent investigators claimed he matched the FBI's psychological profile of Cooper and had the skills necessary to execute the jump. Yet again, the FBI declined to name him as the hijacker, citing insufficient evidence. In 2016, after 45 years of investigation, the FBI officially closed the D.B. Cooper case. They redirected resources to more pressing matters, acknowledging that the mystery was unlikely to be solved. Despite advances in forensic science, including DNA analysis of materials left on the plane, no conclusive match was ever made. What remains is a legend. D.B. Cooper became an American folk hero, a symbol of rebellion, cleverness, and defiance. Unlike other criminals, he harmed no one. He vanished without a trace, outwitting law enforcement, and leaving behind a story that feels almost cinematic in its audacity. Yet beneath the romance lies a deeper question. Did Cooper survive to enjoy his stolen fortune, or did he perish alone in the wilderness, his body claimed by the forest? Was the money lost forever, scattered by wind and water, or does some of it still lie hidden, waiting to be found? The mystery endures because it resists closure. Every clue leads to another question. Every suspect brings doubt. In a world increasingly defined by surveillance and digital footprints, the idea that a man could simply disappear feels almost impossible. And yet, on a cold night in 1971, one man did exactly that. D.B. Cooper stepped into the darkness, and the darkness never gave him back. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Crime Chronicles US for more chilling unsolved mysteries from across America. Stay curious, and we'll see you in the next story.